Yes, tonight I'm Natasha Zuves, and tonight we are taking a closer look at the crisis at our southern border. Border officials have now encountered nearly 2 million migrants since last October. It is a new record for 1 year in less than 11 months' time. And that data does not include migrants who have evaded law enforcement. Well, now border governors are taking matters into their own hands, from Texas to Arizona, building walls of their own and continuing to bus migrants to New York City, Washington, D.C., bringing the border crisis to the front steps of our nation's capital. Tonight, I'll be speaking with the mayor of Yuma, Arizona, as shipping containers in his city are going up, filling gaps in the border wall. I'll speak with him about what needs to be done amidst this humanitarian crisis. But first, let's get to correspondent Allie Bradley. She is in Phoenix for us right now. Allie, you've been on the ground all week. What are you seeing?
Yeah, Natasha, we are just seeing that influx continuing. In July alone, there were nearly 200,000 migrant encounters across our U.S. southern border since October, or in July alone, rather. But border sheriffs and community members and their lawmakers are all fighting back. The governors especially doing what they can to fortify their borders. They're securing their borders, and they're doing it in order to keep their communities safe.
Progress is being made on Governor Doug Ducey's shipping container barrier. Work on the fifth and final gap they will be filling began this afternoon. The project is set to be complete by Tuesday, according to a source. However, one of the major crossing points is being left open. And now some are questioning why the governor doesn't put the containers along the federal roadway that runs parallel with the Cocopah Reservation, as hundreds of migrants are continuing to stream through the 6.2-mile gap. Border Patrol agents tell me the governor's shipping container plan won't have an impact as long as the major gap is left open.
What we need to do is do everything we can, which is put containers up, do whatever you can to deter that type of trafficking of humans and drugs into this country.
A sheriff in the Tucson sector dealing with an influx of human and drug smuggling in Pinal County says the governor's barrier could slow the flow of illegal immigration down, but also acknowledges that it won't stop the crossings.
I think people always think you're going to stop it. And, you know, we haven't ever stopped it throughout history. Do I think it's going to be perfect? No. But do I think it will deter some people? Yes. And I think that's the goal.
Meanwhile, in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott says his Operation Lone Star efforts have led to nearly 300,000 migrant apprehensions and more than 18,700 criminal arrests, which is separate from the federal Border Patrol response. As part of Operation Lone Star, the governor continues to bus migrants to the Northeast. He says they have sent more than 7,000 migrants to Washington, D.C., and at least 900 to New York City, saying the mission is providing relief to overwhelmed border communities. Arizona's governor has sent at least 1,400 migrants to our nation's capital and maintains the problem is in Washington, so that is where the buses will be going.
Now, you heard me talk about the Cocopah Reservation there and the gap that is being left open. Now, I did reach out to Governor Doug Ducey's office, asking if they are considering options on closing that gap, what they're looking at, if they are considering those options at all. I have not yet gotten an answer back, Natasha.
All right, Allie, thank you so much. And joining us now to continue the conversation is the mayor of Yuma, Douglas Nichols. Mayor Nichols, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me on, Natasha.
You know, the governor of Arizona says that he isn't waiting for Washington at this point to act, that they're going to close the gaps in the border wall right now. And meanwhile, the Arizona-California Humanitarian Coalition is opposing this action. They believe that money could be better used elsewhere. Can we ask you, is this a waste of money?
It is definitely not a waste of money. The gaps that have been closed are the ones that are the most used gaps, and they're the ones that lead directly to some private property. Their damage has been happening over the years. And so this helps on a couple fronts. It helps protect those properties, but it also gives a more manageable situation for Border Patrol. While they're not endorsing this plan one way or the other, it does provide more focus for them that things are happening in certain locations as opposed to these varied locations along the border.
Well, NewsNation has been covering this story for months now. We know Yuma experienced a record surge of undocumented immigrants last December, 1,200 a day at its peak. Do you think these containers are a long-term solution?
Well, I think they're a step forward, but I really have to agree with the sheriff that this isn't the ultimate solution. The ultimate solution is really getting back to Washington, D.C., getting with Congress, changing the laws, making sure DHS and the Secretary and the President support policies that truly enforce the law, even the laws that are currently on the book. So those are the measures that discourage immigration in illegal ways. But we should be encouraging immigration in legal ways. So that's where the solution lies. These barriers are helpful management tools, but they don't solve the issues in and of themselves.
Well, and I do want to pull up something that you said recently, quote, the last 6 months, the hospital has spent over $20 million on migrant care, but has received no funding from the federal government in order to pay that back. So that means the citizens of Yuma end up paying that in their bills when they engage the hospital for care. Is it safe to say that you're not counting on federal aid to come?
Well, we continually push for federal aid, but this has already been dragging on a year and a half, going on 2 years really shortly. And what does come is slow. So we do know that there'll be some activity from the federal government on closing some of these gaps. But again, it's going to be months before that happens. And that was great about the governor's action. It was decided, and within a week and a half, 2 weeks, it'll be done. And so those are the things that we're really focusing on, is what can we get done, but still focusing on the long-term goal.
And in the meantime, as the humanitarian crisis at the border worsens, can you talk a little bit about the impact that you're seeing in your city? What is happening with local hospitals and 911 call centers?
Well, the hospital statistic that you brought up already, the $20 million, is really a very clear picture of what's happening. There's situations where there's been about $1.5 million spent on in our maternity ward with new babies coming in, and there's some very strict laws about releasing people, no matter where they come from, with newborn babies without having resources. So that's forced the hospital to actually provide housing for the people in the interim. And those are the things that just are very dramatic and different than what we've experienced in the past. And we really need the federal government to come in and have a positive impact on this situation.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.